my mind up one year. I said, I'm either going to become a cloud engineer this year or I'm going to die. That was literally my mentality, and I meant every word. I said, I'm going to die or I'm going to become a cloud engineer. So I literally stopped partying, I stopped going out. I still got the text to this day of my friends telling me, nah, I can't go out with you, I'm studying. Nah, I can't do this, I'm studying. I did boot camps, courses, I did everything you could think of. I ended up getting my AWS certified practitioner cert. First off, keep in mind, now I failed this certification as well twice. Now I don't fail 3 times, all right? I'm paying out of pocket. I ain't getting reimbursed or sponsored, no vouchers, nobody. I said, man, so I finally, my homegirl, she picked me up one night because the night before I was supposed to take my exam, my car broke down. And my homegirl gave me a ride to the 30 minutes away to take my exam. Took my exam, passed. Oh man, I was elated. I was elated.
This video is being brought to you by Level Up in Tech. It's Q3 in 2024, but you still have time to get into the cloud. With the quick search for cloud in Indeed, you can see over 44,000 jobs are listed that is related or pertaining to the cloud. Now, that is a lot, but if you're watching this right now, you might be thinking, well, how do I learn the skills to get into the cloud? Well, we got you covered. Level Up in Tech is one of the best, if not the best, program related to getting people into the cloud. At Level Up in Tech, you can learn about server config and troubleshooting, the AWS cloud, infrastructure as code, CI/CD, scripting, containerization, and more. And also, they now also have a new multi-cloud AI engineering program that is dedicated to help you have the latest and greatest skills to help you be marketable in this tech market. They post more testimonials than almost any program that I could think of. Check them out. Now, if you're ready to start your cloud career today, then use the link in my description to go to levelupintech.com/tech so you can start your career. And plus, they'll know that I sent you. But on to the video. Welcome back to the Textual Talk Podcast. I'm your host, HD, and we got a special guest for y'all today. None other than Demecos Chambers, aka Cloud Tech Big Unc. He in the building with us today. But before we get into the episode, y'all know what to do. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button, and hit that bell icon to be notified when we're dropping our content. And if you're listening to us on any of the streaming platforms, leave us a comment, follow us, helps us out in those podcast analytics. And also, subscribe to the Patreon, you know what I'm saying? Because we need to do a part 2 of this in person, you know what I'm saying, with some cigars and some drink. But what's going on, man?
My language, man. Talking my language. Cigar daddy, cigar aficionado, nice little something to sip on. That's the best way to communicate about tech, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's funny though. I haven't really gotten to cigars yet. Like that's something I do want to get into. I feel like that's the next level of like grown status cigars.
Man, you know what's funny? You say boss level, man. I remember I started getting into cigars around, I think I was like 25, 26. I had lost everything, and I used to do Uber. And I was sleeping on my mom's couch at the time. And I needed somewhere to go and something to do. This wasn't even do Uber. I was doing the worst job I ever had, bouncy houses. And in between installing bouncy houses, in between installs, I needed something to do because I didn't want to have to drive back home and be on the couch all day. So I just needed something to buy time until it was time to pick up the bouncy houses. So I said, man, let me stop by this cigar shop and see what's cracking, man. I went in there, man, and I was hooked ever since, man. I've been there for like 4 hours, 6 hours in between installs, and be able to in a relaxed atmosphere, vibing, chopping it up with folks. And, before I knew it, man, it just turned into a lifestyle. Something I will always just do in the evenings, mostly on weekends. And ever since then, it's I just ingratiated myself more so into the culture, cigar culture. And it just became a lifestyle for me. So that's a part of my identity, apparently.
That's fire. I know it's a nice spot. It's not right by me. It's probably like 15, 20 minutes away. I've been in there before. I think I smoked some cigars in there before, like with some friends. Used to be a spot we'd go to like late night for a good like grown vibe. Wasn't a lot of kids in there, so it was always cool. It's a one of those bring your own liquor spots, so you can bring your own liquor.
BYOB, yeah. Those are kind of cool spots. Yeah, you found some good spots like that. The music's not loud or crazy. It's not a club atmosphere. It's kind of just a lot of grown folks around with real responsibilities that just come in, kick back and shoot the breeze,
Right. And for my women watchers, listen, that's where you go find the sugar daddies at.
Hey, you hear me? You might get your teeth in something, something nice.
That's where they
Might
gonna
get
be
you a
at.
Range Rover.
Feeling good. Nah, they know because that's all the time they be trying to figure out where they at. That's where they at though.
That my women friends that all the time. Now listen, there's a lot of married men. I'll say that now. So he's cons and pros, but for the men that ain't married, when I was in there as a bachelor, there's a lot of bachelors in there, and it's a great come up for just men who just serious about their careers, but just want to
Mhm.
kick back in a laid back atmosphere. Don't want to party too much. Don't want to be in a mix too much. Just want to have a casual conversation, really kind of get to know somebody. So especially potential suitor. So yeah, it's definitely a place for a grown woman to meet some grown men. You never know where those connections can go. It doesn't always have to be romantic. It can end up being a professional, connection that you make as well. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and while you were talking, that reminded me of one of my previous guests, Tiffany. She was talking about how she got into cybersecurity, and I think at the time she was either working or doing something around a cigar bar, and they was putting her on game about cyber, and that's how she ended up getting cybersecurity. So
Oh, that's crazy.
you got
That
to
is
go
crazy.
like wherever the people, like the late Godfather used to say, man, wherever people you want to be like, you need to know where they be at.
Absolutely, man. Just real quick, it's funny you said about Tiff because a part of my mission or when I started Be Cloud Engineers came from a conversation with an OG, Mike Calvin. That's his name, OG Calvin. Used to be at the cigar bar. This dude was the first Shannon Sharp that I met in person. Like this dude was like 50 something, gray hair, the pepper gray hair, great shape, fit, this swaggy, cool older gentleman. He was a tech consultant. And I remember one night he just broke down into tears telling me, he said, man, the biggest regret I got is that I didn't take nobody with me to my climb towards success, nobody from his hometown in Alabama. He said, young bucks, no matter what you do, be sure that you bring somebody up with you. So ever since we had that conversation that day, man, I said, you know what? Wherever I go in this tech journey, man, I'm going to be sure to be a liaison to help as many people as I can, like me, from my community friends or, acquaintances or whoever, come to the mountaintop with me and, prosper in this tech industry. I didn't know it was going to be cloud tech at the time, but it just so happened to pan out that way. But ever since he had that heart to heart with me, man, I was like, yeah, I can't, I don't want to become that older man who's very successful because he was like, I got all this property, I got all these houses, I got da 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 da, but nobody to look back and share it with. Like, dang, we went through we went through the cave together, we went through the dungeons together. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that to be my story. I want a part of my success to be shared among other people's successes as well that I helped along the way. So that is funny she said that because that's one of the most polarizing messages that I've decided to carry with me ever since that day. So
Cool. With that being said, let's talk about your story real quick, man. So let's go ahead and introduce yourself. Take as much time as you want to. We on this podcast, we let our guests talk. We let them get whatever they want to get off that they can't say on other platforms. This will be do around here.
all right, that's cool. I don't yeah, no, I can be a little loquacious. No drink needed for that. But I'm gonna try to keep it brief as I possibly can. But so, my story is I basically, come from, I'm born in the 80s, come from single parent household, grew up in complete poverty, I had aspirations as a teenager, I tell you no lie, aspirations by the age of 16. I said, man, I know what I want to be as an adult. I want to be a swaggy dude in the hood with an old school, being able to walk around in house slippers, fly house slippers, like some pink fur house slippers or something like that, with a whole just making visits to different girls' houses that I mess with. I was like, that's what I wanted to be. But that, speaks to just the type of environment I grew up in. And and I remember my fifth grade teacher telling us like, he's like, I went to Cleveland Avenue on the south side in Atlanta. He was like, um, he told us, he said, you all are expected by, I think he said by the age of 16 to 18 to have already been to jail. Beyond the age of 18, you're supposed to be already locked up with a few baby mamas. And then you're not supposed to make it past 25. You're supposed to be dead by 25. And that really stuck with me. And so, I've always kind of been my own rebel without a cause, my own standing on my own, trying to go my own route. And so, I went to alternative high school. I dropped out of high school. I ended up getting my GED about a year later. I enrolled into a trade school, a tech trade school. Um, I got my diploma. I got my first tech internship. Now, I'm saying it like it was a walk in the park. It was nothing laid out. Like I had to go figure all this out on my own. My mom didn't know nothing about FAFSA form or nothing. I had tried to get the fake high school diploma from Cornerstone and had to end up still having to take the GED because nobody, no school would take the fake diploma. Um, uh, and um, and yeah, man, I was trying to figure out what I was wanting to do in life. And so by the time I got the diploma, I had got the internship. I was there for and this is an internship. I just went on Craigslist and just started applying for it. I made this whole email pitch to a whole bunch of companies um, saying I want to be an intern. I'll work for free. And I found a company nearby, mid-size, that allowed me to come in 3 days a week to work for free for a couple hours. And so it came down to it where they had to make a decision to keep me or kick me out. And I was doing really well. And then they said, if you pass this test to get this computer to boot up, and this is old school, it's a desktop PC. They said, if you can get it to boot up, we're going to give you a job with us. We're going to pay you as put you on a salary. I said, oh man, cool. Man, it took me about an hour and a half. I couldn't get that thing to boot up for the and I had did all this help desk support experience and everything, but it wasn't sticking for me. I wasn't getting it, it just didn't work out. So it was like, yeah, we got to let you go. So that was my first time being laid off. And I think I was like 18 or so, 18 and 19. So anyway, I had ended up getting the first corporate job at 20. And I was working as a project coordinator, started off data entry. And then worked my way up all the way up to a level 2 project coordinator right under a project manager for a telecom project management firm who basically built cell phone towers for AT&T. And so I went from that allowed me to move out of my mom's house, get an apartment, which eventually allowed me to buy my own first house by the age of 24. And, I was self-sustainable. I was making a really good salary, had my own everything. And, there was, and was doing well in life, especially coming from where I come from. And so I was like, man, so what's next for me? So I remember one day I went to the corporate office, and they said, all right, we're going to give you a raise. I said, oh crap, I'm already making good money at that time. I think it's 2012, 2014. I was making like 26 an hour. And it was like, all right, we're going to give you a raise. I said, oh man, I'm about to make stupid bank. Now I'm about to really be the man, in my social circle, So man, they said, all right, so here's a breakdown of how much you're gonna make, and how much is gonna be divvied after the year. He was the manager. My manager was so proud at the time. He was a really good manager too. He's just so proud to give me this raise. Man, that raise was 10 cents, man. I said, nah. I said, ain't no way. This can't be the corporate ladder I was supposed to be trying to climb. I said, nah, man. Man, so after I left the office, I said, nah, I gotta figure out something else. This ain't gonna work. So I ended up quitting. Actually got fired technically because I said I'm gonna show up late every day. They're either gonna fire me or I'm gonna have the balls to quit. And I showed up late every day for like 3 months, and before they fired. And I decided to do full on life coaching. And so that's when I got into life coaching and mentorship. I did a whole bunch of amazing stuff as a 100% entrepreneur. I drunk the Kool-Aid, the turn Tony Robbins, burn the boats Kool-Aid. And so I figured, was doing that for like years, man. And, had a lot of highs, had a lows, and ended up losing everything, just due to financial decision making. I wasn't financially savvy or disciplined or educated. So I would just blow money, like blow money. And so I blew all the money and mismanaged my house and everything. Ended up getting into foreclosure and everything. Lost the house, lost everything but my car. And I moved back in. I was dating a girl at the time, said I was going to find a roommate. She said, you should move back here with your parents, with your mom. So I said, man, I was like, man, you know what kind of conditions my mom living in? Man, I don't know. Your parents got a nice big house. Y'all in the burbs out here in Duluth. I got to go back to the hood on the 6, and my bedroom's going to be on the couch, and there's about 5 of us sharing a apartment, bathroom, one bathroom. So anyway, so I did that, man. Things was just looking bad, man. I had got fired from, I was actually a bouncer. I was a bouncer for about a year. I did all type of odd jobs, construction work, all type of stuff. Anyway, ended up doing Uber. and Lyft, and got fired from both of them. So, listen, this fire thing that people talk about layoffs, I'm like, listen, I've been dealing with this since to my early 20s. So it's like it's nothing to me to always, understand that you got to have a plan after when they let you go. So um anyway, I remember one day before I got kicked off of Uber, I met this one brother who was trying to talk to me in the morning, just talk my ears. And I was one of those Uber drivers. I don't want to have a conversation with you. I just want to take you to your destination, drop you off. You say our farewells. It is what it is. Get my money. And he was just persistent on talking my ear off. He was from New York. He's with all that bravado. He's telling me about tech. Da, da, da. And he mentioned something about the cloud. And I was like, "What's the cloud?" He's like, "Oh, Amazon Web Services. They have a cloud now." I was like, Amazon. I was like, the book company? This is where Amazon, the most tech thing I know about them was the Kindle. I was like, she was like, yeah, you get certified and get your cloud solutions architect certification in the half for it's like 84 ranks. I was like, $84,000? And he's like, yeah. He's like, all you got to do is get your certification. I said, for real? So long story short, I bartered with him because I didn't have the money to pay for at the time. Linux Academy was the only ones producing cloud training content at this time, the only one. And I said it was like $30 a month. I couldn't afford it. I was broke. And I was like, you know what? I'll come pick you up and take you wherever you want to go every day for 5 days a week for a month in exchange for your membership, because he had a membership with Linux Academy through his job. He worked in the data center. And he was like, sure. Man, I did not know that this dude was a strip club veteran. And so literally 4 nights a week, I'm taking him to the strip club. This is how I've gotten into the strip clubs. I used to take him to the strip club like 4 nights a week, like no joke, in the city. And I used to finesse it sometimes because it got to the point where he'll pay me 20 for the ride and then he'll give me 20 to tip the dancers. But sometimes I'm gonna kick the 20 and not tip the dancers. And so I used to sometimes walk away with a 40 piece some nights. So anyway, um, use his account, study my butt off, fail. My first exam, cloud certification, AWS Cloud Solutions Architect exam. Then I eventually got a tech job with a help desk job with Dell, working for the state of Georgia, installing desktops. I was only supposed to be, and I treated it like I did my project management job. Like I was only supposed to be there for about a month, and I ended up busting my butt. They ended up having me there I ended up being there long term for about a year and some change. Well, while I'm there, I'm still on contract. They can let me go at any time. I'm not making really much of nothing, but I got enough now to where I can move out of my mom's and move there with roommates. And so I moved in with like 4 guys into this house, whatever. My bed is still on like crates. Like, my bed was literally sleeping on crates. And so, and he had all these, they had all these cats. It was crazy. Anyway, I said, man, you know what? I made it just my mind up one year. I said, I'm either going to become a cloud engineer, because I was at my wit's end with everything. I was with my wit's end with not knowing what to do with this cloud stuff, because I knew nobody that knew how to get in the cloud. Like, I had these conversations with people, but nobody knew how to do it. Nobody knew what a cloud engineer was. I was in this one cloud engineer group on Facebook, but it was all Indian based. And most of them were trying to sell you some type of product or some type of hack or something like that. And so I was like, so I said, you know what? This is gonna be my year. I literally sat on my bed and said, I'm either gonna become a cloud engineer this year or I'm gonna die. That was literally my mentality, and I meant every word. I said, I'm gonna die or I'm gonna become a cloud engineer. I don't even really know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna kind of figure it out. So I literally stopped partying, I stopped going out. I still got the text to this day of my friends telling me, nah, I can't go out with you, I'm studying. No, I can't do this, I'm studying. I did boot camps, courses, I did everything you could think of. And I ended up getting my AWS certified practitioner cert. First off, keep in mind, now I failed this certification as well twice. Now I don't fail 3 times. All right? I'm paying out of pocket. I ain't getting reimbursed or sponsored, no vouchers, nobody. And so I said, man, so my homegirl, she picked me up one night because the night before I was supposed to take my exam, my car broke down. and my homegirl gave me a ride to the 30 minutes away to take my exam. Took my exam, passed. Oh man, I was elated. I was elated. My mom picked me up and took me back to my roommate's house where I stand at. And I kid you not, man, I had been applying for tech roles way before I got my certification. I also did some volunteer work of helping a friend of mine who owned a major blog site at the time, help her. She had her blog site hosted on AWS. And I had volunteered to help her do some disaster recovery methods for her website, as well as help restore her website that went down. And so, and I wasn't, you know, I was figuring it out along the way as well. So, but I knew enough to be able to restore everything and set up the art for her, et cetera. So anyway, I say all that to say, in combination with helping her, because I added her business to my resume, and, as a cloud architect, because I am, I'm the only cloud person, as you know, I'm the one that architect the whole store, et cetera. And then I added my certification. Man, I applied for this one job. I got wind of that they were hiring for support engineers. I applied. They gave me a call that same day. Um, they interviewed me. I applied the night before. They called me the next morning. They set up the interviews. I kid you not, I had 4 interviews in the next 2 days. So that same day I had 2 interviews, and then the following day I had 2 more interviews. Um, I went up through all these rounds of interviews, and I ended up getting the job. They gave me the job. They gave me the job offer. And so I was excited. I remember the whole time I'm telling my boys and a lot of the guys I work with, like, y'all need to get into this cloud. Y'all need to get into this cloud. Nobody's believing me. And then until I went and showed them the offer letter that I got the job. And so the job, I was in Atlanta at the time, and the job was based out of um Raleigh, no, Durham, North Carolina. So they said, all right, we need you to be up here in a couple weeks. And I said, cool, I'll be there. And I was working, my job was to work class support, graveyard shift. All right. Graveyard shift. And I in office. This is before even working remote was a thing. So I said, cool, I'm gonna be there. I don't know how I make it there, but I'm gonna be there. I loaded that car up so fast, cleaned out everything, let my roommates know, kissed my mom and sisters goodbye. And I hit the road, man. And I found the roommate out there, one of the most that commercial, what's that? The Saki's commercial, the most interesting guy in the world. I swear the roommate that I met out there is the most interesting guy in the world. This guy can act. He works in tech, like fixing ATMs. He's worked on his house. He knows how he's great with animals. He had a parrot, he had all these super animals. He could just do everything. The dude was he would sing and play the guitar in the house. This dude was amazing. He was a great looking guy. He was just amazing, bro. I was like, dog, I'm not being man enough in my life. And so anyway, worked that job, man. And that's basically how I got my start in cloud. That was my first role. I think that was like 2018. And yeah, everything kind of took off from there, man.
All right, guys, we're done.
Ah, all right. Well, let me was
But
it something to say?
nah, man, you touched on a lot. And before we get more into you started your cloud career about what was that, 6 years ago, I believe. I want to touch on upbringing slightly because me and granted we may have had like slightly different upbringings, but we still know people. Like I know people who grew up similar to how you did, or but you said the things that you saw on the regular of, hey man, I want to what's that car called? People talk about. I want an old school Chevelle or something. I
Yes,
want to
sir. Ski
drive around the
hard
hood,
top.
and I want to be on the scene. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want to do. I want to work at the corner store, and everybody know me. And you know what I'm saying? So a lot of the like I did this blog post a while back, and I may just need to reshare it or revamp it. But I was saying like one of the number one things, and this can go for cyber, this can go for cloud, this can go for databases, this can go for anything that's in tech related. The number one thing keeping a lot of black people out of it is exposure.
Absolutely.
It's like
Absolutely.
most of the time, and then we can get like deep on this combo too. It's like one of the reasons why like you'll see like maybe black kids don't want to go to school is they see people that went to college and they struggling just like their parents who didn't go.
Yes. A social
So it's
worker
like
struggling.
Yeah.
Police officer struggling.
Struggling.
You might
Teacher.
know some lawyers, but the lawyers are like old, the crippled, and they're not cool looking. And then you're like, lawyers, I got to go to school for 8 years. I'm doing to do all that.
Yeah.
I barely like doing homework. So yeah, the collegiate way seems so unappealing, and then the success story seems so far fetched. You know,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, I'm saying you're on point with it, and that's one of the things too. Is like where people talk about like different educations, like unless you in a certain area where you see these people, like they're like, for example, you in the Atlanta area, so they got spots where it's nothing but successful Black people
Yeah,
that you're gonna see that do all different type of careers. If you ain't growing up around some of that stuff, you'll never know. And it could
yeah.
be in the same city as you, because I'm from Shreveport, and
Oh
so they
yeah,
got
yeah. Louisiana,
different
yes.
hoods in the area where like one spot's like Cooper Road, where it's kind of like far off from everything. They got people like when right before I moved to Dallas in 2014, I briefly had a stint as like a counselor. Like one of my friends on one of those mental health joints, and all
Mm,
you needed was a degree to go like talk to these kids and stuff like that. And when some of the training, there's something like, hey, I know it's some kids that's like never went over the bridge to Bossier. They only been on the Cooper Road.
mm.
So like it's just so many people who have never left they block. They don't know. All they know is put they invisible box they put themselves in.
And I think that's a big misconception that happens with Atlanta. And what spoils you about growing up in the city is that, yeah, where's black everything surrounded by us and everywhere. The thing we do run into though, where it's like, though we live in the city, we might be so far out removed from where the black professionals are congregated. So, like, you live on the south side, any side of town, the real action of where all the white collar professional blacks are, the business owners are kind of centralized inside the loop of 285, inside the city. They're in Midtown, they're in Buckhead. We
Mhm.
kids living in, and out there in Marietta, or living out there and on the east side, Latonia, or living on the south side, even far north side, Gwinnett. We're not really that attached to what's happening on the inside of the city. And so we used to, where I lived in Roswell, Roswell, is traditionally a wealthy community, a white wealthy community coming from white slave owners, and plantations, and a lots of farmers, farming families out there. And even we lived in a poor pocket. Literally, the pocket we lived on off exit 6 is literally, when you look at a map, an old map from Roswell from the 1800s, is literally the same place where the slave quarters were. In fact, just the church that we all used to congregate at was the same. Is a church that was ran by uh, um, slaves. Slaves ran that church, and that family eventually took over the church, and of course built a name for themselves as well, and got them their family out of poverty. But like, we were still poor, and like distant from any access of opportunities. One of the great things that happened is that, and I don't know if you all had this in your state or city, but the jobs program helped us a lot, because it brought those outer city kids to the inner city to be around black collar professionals, white collar professionals, people who had degrees, like people that went to Morehouse, Spelman. Like, we never really met these people in person. We heard about it, seen about it, but we never got to have a conversation with it. That was our first times wearing collared shirts and slacks and stuff, and they give us job opportunities, something to do instead of running around on the side all day. We learned about doing timesheets and coordination and interviews and resumes. Like, so those job programs help a lot with exposure. So it definitely needs to be a tremendous effort in supporting job programs for the youth, and just all type of activities that do what you said earlier, provide exposure. And that's why I did so much mentoring, still do a lot of mentoring. I don't do as much today, but up until recently, I've done so much mentoring, is because, our youth need exposure to the opportunities beyond what they see on TV, or social media, or here in their neighborhoods. They need to know what's real, and what's possible for them, without it being an expensive dream or a far-fetched dream. So
Nah, you on it. I think we had something similar to that. I know, like I have a cousin. We the same age, and her mom used to put her in all those things like biz camp and all those things in the summer where they would do some of the stuff that you're talking about. But I
same
want to get
parents,
back
right?
into some of the corporate talk. Because what else was funny to me was when you said, "Oh yeah, I'm finna give you a raise," and it was 10 cent. It reminded me of my first job. I was a contractor for the TSA help desk, and at that time I was making 17 an hour. And so, of course, we signed some of our things. So, okay, when we bring you over, you're gonna convert over, but it didn't say how much you would make. I think initially they told everybody it was going to be we'll convert over at like 30 an hour or whatever, which turned out to
Okay.
be a lot. They
That was
reneged
good
on the
money back then. Yeah.
they reneged on the contracts on everybody, so we didn't know that the companies did their negotiations without letting us know. So that's why everybody
Mm.
was down. But when it came to convert back in, it was like late 2014. Them fools tried to offer me 70 cent more.
70 cents.
I was like, listen, I got my degree. I got this certification right here. You got to at least pay me 40 G's. Because at that time, what I'm saying, I didn't know what I could get. I didn't really know how to negotiate, but
Yeah.
they did the cheapest way possible to give me 40 G's. They paid me $19 and some cent that would equal out to 40K. I was like, boy, I tell you,
Man, I'm
didn't make
telling
it
you,
20.
the audacity. And then the sad part is like, especially, I don't know how it was in your position, but when I was working those projects, I'm seeing how much money we're paying out to vendors versus the margin, the percentage that we're keeping for ourselves. And we're talking about high seven figures, And so I'm like, ain't no way y'all about to give. I'm handling all this money in front of me, just passing it on, and y'all gonna tell me I only get 10 cents? 10 cents, basically a 10 cent increase in pay? Like, nah, man, this don't make no sense. Nah, absolutely not.
Definitely a slap in the face. I'm like,
Yeah,
man.
man, absolutely not. No way.
But
Mm-mm.
the reason why they do that is because I know, like, my mom, them age back in their day, people was getting, quarter raises, 50 cent raises, and they was
Yeah,
happy. So a lot of times you was a person that wasn't happy with that, but everybody else was like, it's like one of them, I hate to say it, like one of them slave mentality things, just thankful that they thankful they got a job and somebody gave them something.
right. What?
So
Yeah,
they
what
don't know
you
what you know.
Yeah, and we always have to keep in context different times for different folks. Like
Right.
they had to take those jobs because it was either that or what. That there was the barter entry for entrepreneurship or for other alternative means of earning was a lot more steeper and a lot more enriched and entrenched in discriminatory legal practices. So our parents had and grandparents had to. But
But yeah,
with
not even
us,
them. I'm not really focusing on them as much as I'm talking about, like, there used to be people I work with, like,
oh yeah,
even
yeah, yeah,
much
yeah,
younger,
yeah,
I'm like, I used to try to listen, people don't believe me, and one day I'm gonna have my homie, he stay out here, and we gonna do a show. I'm like, "Do you remember when I used to say, 'Hey, man, they ain't paying us right. All we gotta do is not answer calls for, like, 3 minutes, and they'll have to give us our money because our job, you had to have a clearance to do it."
yeah,
So they couldn't it wasn't like they just get everybody on there.
yeah.
Nobody wanted to ride with me on the strike, man, because I was trying to help them get paid. See, I knew I eventually wasn't gonna be there,
That's the
but
thing about the
everybody else.
change maker, man. You gotta understand, and you learn early, and that's one of the things that you learn early is that which when you have a vision, man, everybody ain't gonna see it. Even those that you care deeply about to try to bring along the way, everybody just and you gotta make peace with that eventually. And a lot of folks also know if you're not from the South, y'all don't understand how it's not backward thinking, just traditional thinking. A lot of our folks are because that's just how look. We in the and you from Shreveport, which is even more rural than Parson
Mhm.
Unfor. So it's like y'all don't understand how behind just a lot of the thinking of our people, how they are, because they just lack exposure. They ain't never seen this kind of stuff before. They never seen innovative people come in before. They never seen the strike really work before. They never seen those type of things. So to them, it's like you're speaking foreign language. You want them to take a chance on something that you don't even know is going to work, and you in the same position they in. They like, nah.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
So,
man. But, nah, man, but, outside of that, man, I just wanna commend you on really you pretty much did what you had to do to get into the industry, and that's something where we see most people with that mindset, they will be successful. It's not a if, it's a win. It's always a win. Just like, I think I was, like, on the introductory call to one of my clients, and I told him straight up, I was like, "Yo, my clients that bug me and talk to me all the time, they the most successful clients. The
mm,
ones that I'm having to keep on checking on and like, oh, what you doing? I ain't heard from you. them the ones that they're not as successful as the ones that's talking to me every day. Like they'll text me, "Yo, hey, look at this. Hey, I sent this. What should I do about this?" Them the ones that's trying to get it.
Mhm.
So with you, it's like, listen, by any means, you said you made a decree. Look, hey, I'm a either get in or die trying. Like no 50 cent, and
Yeah.
and you got in. You
Yeah.
manifested that.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a lot of hard work in it. As I explained to everyone, it's like it's a very lonely path being ambitious, and especially being highly ambitious. Like you're going to have nights and moments where you're going to be alone, and you have to make peace with that. And I try to prepare my students to always understand that though you got coaching or mentoring, or you have a teacher or professor, whoever helped you along the way with your training, this is still a self-taught industry, even when you get your first opportunity, because how you train to become a cloud engineer, tech professional, will be how you perform as a tech professional or cloud engineer. Your study habits, your ability to take initiative, the ability to deal with rejection when things don't go your way or don't work, how you recover from loss when you get laid off or you lose your job or the contract get lost or what have you. Those things that you train yourself for are you're going to those that's the social ambition piece that you're gonna need to be successful in this field and just any field in life. Like you gotta develop that drive to be able to just go at it alone, regardless of who's with you or who's against you. So
Yeah. And before we leave off this topic, not only that, you got all the naysayers around you. Ah, he didn't fail 3, 4 times. I don't even know why. He needs to just go ahead and what they say on social media, he need to put the fries in the bag. That's what he needs to
put the
do.
fries in the back. Yeah, that's one of my favorite, funniest comments I'll be seeing on Twitter when somebody says
Right.
something crazy. They was like, yo, put the fries in the back. But
Like
yeah, go ahead.
they be saying that, or like I was watching whatever someone went Carmelo, some of people talking some he needs to go get his CDL. Like, people saying all these different things about you failing because they can't see the vision. They don't see
Hey,
what you see. And
man, and
so
that's
success is lonely.
the crazy part, man. And it's like, man, that's the gift and the curse of this, man. Like you achieve so much, man, but what came with that and what comes with that. Because even as you become successful, and you reach the top, you still gonna have naysayers. People who gonna be like, oh, they're gonna think it's a scam, or they're gonna think you bluffing or you wolfing. You really ain't got no GED. You really didn't just train yourself up, or it's always gonna be there, man. It's just like you have to, at that point, you got to focus on the people who need your message and who want your message, or
Mhm.
want your help and need your aid. Those are the ones that's going to make a difference, because it's not just going to be you alone. It's going to be who you can help that wants to help along the way. And because they're going to do the same thing for people that follow them, who wants to help. And before you know it, you were just one. Then you doubled your effort to 10 people. And those 10 people became 100 people. And those 100 people, it spreads like wildfire. So, at the end of the day, to where, the results are undeniable. So it's like, every great person went through it. Every great entrepreneur, or not even just outside of business, every this great professional period in their industry, titan in their industry, went through it. You're not going to be an exception to that rule. So
Yeah, that's facts. All right, so now we're gonna get on that first job. You drove probably all the way from Atlanta. This probably what, a 8,
hours.
10 hour drive?
Yeah, 8 to 10 hours. Yeah, 8 to 10 hours. I had a Nissan Altima. It had 331,000 miles on it, and it used to get hot along the way. So I used to have a jug of water to pour in the coolant
Mhm.
to keep it cool, from overheating along the way. But yeah, I said, hey man, crook or hook, I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah, man. But that's what it take though. It take that.
that. Hey man, it's you got to be able to see an opportunity beyond what the immediate payout is. And the money was good money at the time. And I'm not the type of person that likes to get in dollars and figures and everything like that. Because we all know tech, pays pretty well, especially nowadays. But it was good money, but at the end of the day, it wasn't like no life changing money. It didn't put me in the next tax bracket and nothing like that. But it was like I saw what this opportunity could eventually lead me to. All I needed was a chance, to prove myself. So, yeah, man, got there. I didn't care. It was graveyard shift. I had to be there uh, from 12:15 at night, and then 12:45 at night, and then my shift ended at 9:15 in the morning.
Ain't a
So,
bad shit. No, you probably got a lot of studying and probably got some more certs while you was doing that.
mm, man, I took that. I failed that that, that cloud solutions architect certification exam. I failed it again while I was working there, and this time they at least provided the training for free because that's when Cloud Guru bought Linux Academy and became Cloud Guru. It used to be called something Guru before that, but um, yeah, I was able to. I did eventually pass the solutions architect cert, and now when I passed it the second time while I was at that cloud support job, because I worked my way from graveyard shift to first shift. I went from graveyard to second shift to now I'm on a primary shift to first shift. So I'm busting my butt. I'm learning, I'm gaining skills, I'm hustling. But I'm just not a great test taker.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I suck at tests, and so I eventually passed, but I'm gonna muscle my way through. So I eventually passed it, and man, I tell you, I kid you not, soon I passed it. Um, this was almost 2 years later. I was also going through a terrible breakup. I was recovering from a terrible breakup, heartbreak. We was in the midst of C-19. I was working remote at that. They moved our job to remote at that time. Um, as soon as I kid you not, I got that certification. I interviewed for this job, and probably like 2 months later, that's when I got my cloud infrastructure up cloud job offer from a different company. And that changed the game for me. That really elevated me to a different tax bracket and really changed not just the money, but the exposure of now I'm going from working in the GUI to now working infrastructure as code, working more at the back end, I never did a good pull before. Never worked with, infrastructure code, nothing, a Terraform, nothing, formation template, nothing before, but, I got all the opportunity in that second role I had obtained. And then the game really changed for me, and I started
Yeah.
to, um, I started to really hone in on my tech skills. So, but I did eventually I got a year later, I got laid off from that job, you know, and that's when I said, okay, I need to start paying attention to the business of tech
Hmm.
because, one of my senior engineers at the time was telling me, he's kind of giving me warnings and heads up like, the organization is making, because we had bought a company, whatever. He was like, yeah, the organization is making a move. From my experience, when I worked at startups and they did da 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 da, this was usually the signs of it. He was a much older gentleman. Um,
Yeah.
he's like, he's one of the mean, those mean senior engineers, but he knew his stuff. And as long as you paid attention, took notes and worked hard, he showed you complete love and taught you so much. So he was one of my greatest managers ever. But anyway, I said I need to learn the business because he gave me heads up, and then before you know it, they hit us all with everybody get on the meeting on this call, corporate Zoom call,
Restructuring.
mute everything. Look, the the chat is muted, the video is muted up, and they tell you what's happening. Your manager will contact you, and boom, I had the conversation. But that was my first time also receiving a severance package. And I was like, "Oh, okay, this how okay." But, and I wasn't and then I also been to therapy because I had to deal with, uh, they call it success remorse.
Survivor's remorse.
Yeah, success remorse. And so, I had to, dip. So by the time I got laid off, I was well prepared for, be able to take on the next steps because I was like, "Okay, this ain't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I'm not going back to sleeping on my mama couch, back to square
Yeah.
zero now. Now I got some experience, I got some certifications. I got some utensils I can cook with now. So all I gotta do is put my hustle in it and make it work." And it did, and I ended up getting, my next role out in Germany. So, things really started to change for me then, so.
Bet. Let's hold that thought. I want to go back to the first cloud role.
Mhm.
There's a cloud support role, right? Okay, because that's one of the first roles. Like if I'm dealing with, sometimes I have some consoles or something like I want to get in the cloud or cloud security or whatever. I say, well, let's get some type of cloud experience first. And I
Mhm.
always tell them to kind of go that maybe that cloud support role because most of the time, unlike doing help desk, cloud support is a little bit more technical and will take you a little farther in your expertise versus doing help desk. So, can you briefly talk about what did you, well, if you can kind of remember, but what did you do as like working cloud support?
Yeah, basically is incident response. A lot of incident response. So a lot of blacklisting IPs, whitelisting IPs, which I had to learn even what that was. The thing about cloud support engineer is it gives you a lot of grace in not knowing a lot of technicalities of cloud technology and on-premise technology. Though, and doing the job requires both because you're gonna have to learn how to SSH into machines or RDP into machines to debug on the command line, how to run DF commands and print out utilization reports. So that cloud support role is a lot of just reporting metrics on how resources are doing or finding causality of why resources are failing in the cloud and present those issues to the client along with the solution to the client. And in most cases, especially in my case, we had big enterprise clients. I mean, some of the largest companies in the world, and at the time, it was like Coca-Cola was one of our biggest clients. And um, you present these solutions to them, but most of it, like a lot of people, get scared of timid of cloud support roles. Most of everything that you're going to have, like they give you scripts, so you're not like coming out with these commands on your own. You're not doing everything alone. You're not figuring
Mhm.
everything out from scratch. Everything they have some type of tools for you, some type of automation tools for you. All you got to do is implement. They really need bodies in the seat that can communicate cloud resource issues when needed. But in the most time, most of your tasks are mundane tasks. Like you're doing the same thing
Okay.
repetitively around the clock. Again, I was just printing out incident reports, whitelisting, blacklisting IPs, restarting EC2s that were failed, doing the status checks, um, handling IMs for incoming engineers or decomming engineers who are leaving the organization, etc. So just things of that sort throughout the day on the ticketing system. And so the difference is with a cloud support role, or most any cloud support roles versus engineering roles is you're more so working on a timed, a timed ticketing system versus in the engineering world, you kind of you're working on a task, and that task really isn't time constraint based on a response. Like you might have a day or two or even a week to work through a task versus in a support role, you literally might have like up to maybe 15 minutes to respond to a ticket and about 30 minutes to respond with a solution to that ticket. Again, you're not coming with it all off of scratch. You're using your scripts and
Right.
tools that they give you to find to create the solutions. And you're presenting the problem and the solution to the client so that they can make well-informed decisions and communicate that to the TAM, the technical account manager, about what changes they want to make to their environment so they don't have these issues reoccur. So basically, that was it. But and
Cool,
then it
cool.
exposed me to different technologies. I had to learn. It taught me how to work with SSO. I work with OK Okta. I work with again Linux. I work with PowerShell. Like all these things I wasn't accustomed to working with, in my previous help desk role. So
Nice. It's funny enough that you said a TAM and all that, because if anybody's ever studied for, the cloud practitioner or AZ 900, you hear those terms all the time. And so now you see the practicality of that in real time right here. And what that role gave you is what I like to call foundation.
absolutely.
So now you can go do anything in the cloud you pretty much want to because your foundation is solid.
Yep. You're working under the hood of the cloud. Literally, when
Hmm.
resources break down, you have to go investigate, find out where the resource is located, how it broke down, and kind of restore that resource, how to restore the service. Because you got to get that client back up and running. And you can be working in a non-production environment or production environment. In most cases, if you're a newbie coming on, unless you're working a prime shift, you're not working in a production environment. They're gonna put you in a non-production environment. So, like, it's a lot of room for mistakes and errors. Cloud support engineers are very forgiving roles. And I say that most engineers, most newbies who want to make the break into cloud should immediately try to step into cloud support roles. It's the help desk of the cloud. Except you get more of it's more lucrative offer. You make a little bit more money or whatever, um, you gain a ton of cloud technical experience, the technical aspect, and you get to learn what other cloud avenues you want to go down because you're working in a centralized role that's responsible for many parts of the cloud. So you're working with, getting to understand and communicate often with network engineers because you're dealing with the cloud network. You're also working with storage engineers because you're dealing with storage. you're working with the TAM, you learn about what a TAM is. You just find out and you kind of it's like, which one of those pathways are most interesting for me to pursue after this cloud support role? It kind of helps you creates a clearer vision for where you want to go, for the next 3, 4 years of your career. So yeah, great place to start.
Perfect. Now I want to focus on that infrastructure role you said you got right after that, and how life changing was that? Because now it seems like where you were kind of a generalist in a sense with the cloud support role, now you possibly have a niche in the cloud that you can work in. And so I want to talk about that position real quick.
Yeah, man, that was with a telehealth company, and that's the thing too about class. I mean, can't give enough credit to cloud support roles. Again, you're working under different. So first off, you sign off on so much paperwork. Don't disregard that paperwork is just general paperwork because you're signing off on various compliance laws that are going to show up later on in your career and pay off if you add it to your resume of having worked on it, like PCI laws, GDPR laws, PII laws, PHI laws, etc. Those are all compliance agencies that are important, especially if you want to go the route of cloud security or any type of compliance, cloud compliance roles, etc. So, like, don't disregard nothing and like take every piece from cloud support that you can. But yeah, in cloud infrastructure, man, it basically it put me on the back end, so I got to deal with a lot of. I got to deal face to face with the developers on the front end. I got to see what those jobs look like that they ran on cloud infrastructure. I had to really, my cloud support skills taught me where resources are. Cloud infrastructure taught me how to build and maintain those resources from scratch. So having to build a servers, it was a primarily AWS environment, how to build servers, EC2 servers, how to build attach storage devices to the servers, how to be careful in choosing a family type, how to right size a cloud environment, meaning that you want to you want to make sure that your cost spend margins are pronounced to where you're not overspending, or you try to reduce as much spending as possible because cloud waste is a huge thing. Ignorance of the cloud will cost you. You know, uh, utilizing hooking up clients to onboarding clients to SFTP servers, creating ECS containers and dealing with containerization and dealing with the CI/CD pipeline, dealing with Jenkins build, having to have build out a pipeline and just so many things, man. And it was exciting for me because I was being able to, in cloud support, most of most of your workload is in the GUI. But when you get in that IAC, the world opens up for you even more. And I was just one of the ones that I love to learn already. I'm a voracious reader. And so it was fun just to be able to learn these skills and learn how this technology intertwine with each other. So yeah, it just really it gave a boost to my technical development skills, my dev skills, which have been a lapse for me throughout my career. So it really boosted my dev skills and it boosted my confidence, most importantly, in my dev skills and my cloud skills. So that role for me just opened it. I feel like I could walk into any role because they brought me on knowing that I was very junior and they wanted that the goal was to train me up to be like senior level within a year. And so that really made me confident to be able to step into any other role after that. So
Nah, perfect. And I'm just looking at you, and you said, like you said, open up your mind. And I'm just the whole time thinking, like, that journey from Atlanta is all coming to fruition
yeah,
while you doing it. So it's just
yeah,
like it's working. Like I know for like you said, you went to Durham, North Carolina. I came out here to Dallas from Shreveport, and just knowing, like you said, I said, hey, within a year, I need to be in security, and like getting
absolutely.
that first offer letter for your first job, and like probably like the most that in your immediate family that has ever made, like all different stuff like you dealing with, like even have to deal with that part, but the hard part, and maybe you could say if you dealt with this or not, because we have like my audience is pretty much like a lot of black people, and then other people that deal with this too that come from different beginnings, but
Absolutely. We all
most of us, most of us that get into these tech roles or get these high paying jobs, a lot of us are probably like first time corporate in our families. A lot of us are probably the people that's made the most in our families. A lot of us are considered possibly the bank to our families to where we don't ever even get a chance to really set ourselves up because we are still helping out. And that probably is something that contributed to your survivor's remorse, maybe.
Survivor remote, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thankfully, my mom and my sisters always kind of been my safeguarding in a way where they don't let a lot of that side of the family bother me, even though some
Mhm.
I did have those problems where exterior family members outside of the nuclear reach out to me. Oh man, I need help this and her. I need help there. People I grew up with and everything. I'm like, man, and it's mostly the men. And it was like, man, if I could do it, if I did it, I ain't got half the, so I ain't have half the support you had. And I don't have the education you had. Like, why you not pull working and you're a man? Like you should be out here doing, making it happen for yourself and your family too. If I sacrifice, nobody was in that bedroom with me when I said I'm going to become a cloud professional or die. Nobody was in there with me. That was that conversation I had with me in those four walls. And nobody was on board with that. So, I had a lot of that, man. That's why I had therapy mattered, and therapy does matter, especially the men. It's that,
Mhm.
because I had a lot of nights, man. It got to the point where and this was even in my infrastructure role because I still hadn't got rid of I still hadn't managed those demons from the past yet. And I'm making great money. I'm able to help whoever I want. I'm giving and my mom, never, again, not asking for anything, but I'm voluntarily helping them, giving them things, you know, um, buying big gifts, doing trips, da 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 da,
Mhm.
splurging, strip club, daddy, doing everything. Wow. But I still, in my head, I was still so, I still had that, um, I still had that, what is it called? When you, um, like, I felt like a fraud. I felt like it wasn't really real. I couldn't really pull this off again, you
So
know,
imposter syndrome.
huh?
So you had imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome was heavy. And but that just sat on top of a lot of fears and anxieties I had just from trauma, unresolved trauma from the past. So I had,
Yeah.
Dr. V, who, owns, therapy for blackmen.org, helped me through a lot of that, man. I mean, so much of that. Like, it was nice where I had to, I would just be sitting on my patio with a cigar and drink or whatever. And it was hard to just close my eyes and just sit back because the voices were loud, just in my head,
Mhm.
loud. And so, my boys, my support system, my brother Mark and John and AG and everybody, they were very supportive and helping me get through those things. But yeah, man. You kind of spiral, especially when you hit that life changing money. You spiral. You gonna spiral for a bit because it's new. Everything's new. You're scared and excited at the same time, and
Mhm.
um and yeah, you don't save. You don't, do the things that you need to do to prepare for your future. You still overlooking what it means to have health benefits. And I had tremendous health benefits, but, you don't care. You don't care. You just don't, man. You're in a circus. You're in the midst of a circus right now. And, it really doesn't take until you hit that repeated success again to be like, okay,
Mhm.
no, I'm not an imposter. I know what I'm doing. I know my limitations, but I know my strengths as well override my limitations. And, I need to also get better at managing my life because I can lose it all, not because I won't be able to obtain opportunities, but because I don't manage the opportunities I currently have. So, yeah, all that my credit coach, Naja, helped me make sure I get my credit right. Taught me about how to budget my money. I used to want to buy one of if I didn't have her in my life, I would have bought an H2, a Hummer too, and went super into debt. But she said, "Don't do that." Da, 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 da. So I listened to her, man, and a couple years later, I'm being able to pay my truck off, and having been able to afford a house, for my family. So it's like, just those things. It's just part of
And
the
lay in
journey, and this is
gratitude.
why I tell students all the time: you can't shortcut the journey. All right. Don't shortcut the journey and become a one tech wonder, one tech job wonder, because those trials, those errors are necessary in your growth. All these pieces add up to make you better and better of a man or woman for yourself, for your family in the near future. But you have to trust the process and go through the process, go through the struggle. It's a part of it. Without any of those intangible social aspects of this journey in tech and cloud tech, you're going to just fumble opportunity, and lose yourself in the whole thing and just be like, you know what, tech ain't for me. Cloud tech ain't for me. This stuff is stupid. You're gonna be one of those persons. So
Yeah. No, you're so right though, because that's what we seen over the pandemic. Some people took some shortcuts, got in, and they ain't here no more, or they kept getting laid off. We listen. We ran into a lot of them. It's a post I shared the other day on my story where a guy was. And it was funny though, because these was white people. He
yeah,
was he was blasting this dude for like trying to sell people on how to be LinkedIn influencers and trying to get in cybersecurity. But he was like, bro, you can't hold a job down. What are you going to show them? He put
hello,
him on blast. Like it was crazy. I used to see a guy like that too. He was always acting like he was a senior DevOps dude, but every time I turned around, he was laid off. I'm like, bro, what is going on?
man. Listen, man. You got to learn the business. You can't like this stuff. Don't you don't want the quick hit opportunities. You don't want that. It's not going to last long. Trust me. Like you been around in this industry, I've seen just about every influencer come through. Even even outside of tech, prior to tech, when I was a full time entrepreneur, I seen all the MLM
I was
ballers.
going to ask you about, bro. I was going to get a question about MLMs because like that entrepreneur to MLM pipeline.
Man,
Like,
boy, they be thick. That Kool Aid be in they veins,
boy,
veins.
they'll,
Yeah, you don't
they'll
need a
tell
boss.
you all these people 6-figure earners in here. This video is being sponsored by Textual Consulting. Are you still struggling to get into cybersecurity? Are you not getting interviews? Do you have a bad resume? Or is it all the above? Well, if that's you, then we got you covered at Textual Consulting. My name is Henry Davis. I'm a career coach and a cybersecurity professional, and I've helped hundreds, maybe even thousands of people get into cybersecurity with my coaching and my content that you've seen in various places. Now, I specialize in specifically getting people in the blue team. That would be incident response or SOC analyst. I can cover everything from your entry level to your medium to your advanced skills and really help you outperform your resume. You don't believe me? Check out some of these testimonials that I've had from recent clients. So if you're interested, click the link in my bio, textualconsulting.com/offerings to see what offerings that we have available for you. Now, back to the show.
Man, listen, man. Nothing beats consistency and just financial management over time. I've seen it so many times. People loudly climb to the top and silently fall to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So many of them. So you gotta be patient and trust the process. And if that means you gotta get a little 9 to 5 job while you train just to maintain and pay your bills, so be it. If that's what you gotta do, that's what you gotta do, what you have to do in order to maintain and learn from what it took. Like that means that when you get them fat checks and you get them, them bonuses or you get them benefits and all that, put money away, for the rainy days, for when things happen, put some away for investing into some assets or something that'll become an asset. Don't do it to bowl. Why accumulate all this success and opportunity just to give it away to a group of people who not even don't even know your name, won't even give your mama some canned goods to be able to feed the family, the kids. So it's like, you know, stop just all that flexing and balling and all that stuff to me is just it shouts insecurity. It shouts that somebody's just lost and they're leading a lot of lost people. And to me, at the end of the day, it's like good riddance because the industry doesn't need to be filled with you all anyway. So I'm glad you all got in quickly. And now you're getting exited out just as quickly. And you're deterred from it. So that means the true people who are supposed to be here and need to be here will be here and make the best of it. So
No, that's facts. Because I mean, like you say, if you go into some of the people who are very flashy or just want to be seen or known, that comes from immaturity or when they were younger, wanting to be that person that they wanted to see. They want to be dripped out like Ric Flair, and not knowing, realizing, hey, he's a character on TV. He's helping them market stuff.
yeah,
There are other people.
there were
No, go
guys
ahead.
who they never got that kind of attention, or women who never got that kind of attention before. They don't know what it's like to be liked by a lot of people or favorable they don't know how to decipher what's real, genuine love versus fake love. And it's like, look, I get it. We come from a culture of people that are flashy people. I get that. Like, Mansa Musa, I get that. We with that. I get that. But moderation too. You have to at least tell people the truth of what they will endure in their journeys, especially their tech journeys. Like that's what I'm all about, keeping it real. Like, because you gotta understand, you're not gonna pay the consequences when things go wrong. When that person that you told that all they gotta do is get a certification and they get a job, when they
Mhm.
got that certification and they can't get a
You
job, but
know
they
that?
put all their last dollar into that certification, now they can't feed themselves and their family. Now they considering doing something crooked. You're not gonna go pay for that. You're not helping them cover them bills. You're not helping bail them out of jail. Like that the consequences is what I want all leaders to understand when you're influencing and leading people. Consider the consequences of those who will follow your advice and it not work out for them. Are you considering that? That's why I
Yeah.
tell students all the time, like, don't take my camp or whatever if it's going to cause you to go into unnecessary debt or if it's going to cause you to have to give your last. Like, maintain the job. Like, don't have these lofty ambitions. Like, yes, it can work for you, but it's a process. Don't think that this is gonna be an overnight success thing. That's why I don't even ball. Like, I don't even show off the flashy stuff or this cool, like even travel. Like I travel a lot, but I denounce traveling. Like I'm not a big you should travel guy. And I've been all over the world, but it's like because it's like you have so many great things here. Like in America, in home, where you are currently. Like you have explore that, be cherish what you have. Therefore, when you get more, you're going to cherish it even more. And then you'll be able to have a compound effect. You'll be able to accumulate more. But it comes with starting appreciation of what you have now, not trying to live out these rapper dreams, of, oh, I should have this, I should have that, I should have this. It's like, it's not realistic, bro. And when you know this, sitting on these calls with other engineers and senior engineers and directors, these guys are making high six figures. You're on the calls with CEOs who making seven figures. They're not on these calls flashy. They're not in these calls drippy and dripped and drip and in the back of a Lambo, in the back of a Rolls Royce. Yeah, I'm sure they have those things, but when they're doing business and conducting business, it's not like that. They're handling business. They're professional. Usually got on a collar shirt. They usually laid back. They usually got their the camera on in some big garage or some big room that they got made into an office or whatever, and they just handling business, man. So get into the what I would encourage your followers to do is just get into the act of being able to understand true wealth and true longevity and those people who are the masters of that, not the persons who are the masters of overnight success.
Nah, man, you listen, you was on it. And that's one of the reasons why with this platform, my supporters know that I look at sometimes people from afar. Like I looked at you for like a minute and I was like, cool. I rock with like what he got going on. I want to bring him on because they know I bring authentic guests on. They know I'm not selling my audience to people just to advertise stuff I don't believe in. So anything I've ever advertised or people who got their own platforms I bought on, I believe they're solid. And so that's why, like, if I rock with them, then my supporters rock with them. And they know from my content, they can go back from years of me just being solid and just being honest with you and telling you, hey, why someone is marketing something to you. Because if we're gonna piggyback real quick on the MLM lifestyle, that's what we saw with the tech influencer thing. It's very similar. It's very similar with it to get somebody in. I want to say I'm and I'm not gonna say this because well, I'm gonna say it, but in a
Go
way, it's
ahead.
not really a shot because there's other
Go ahead,
people I've
because
seen.
I'm coming behind your back with the whole right arm on them. Go ahead.
Listen, but it's like it's people like prime example. Like this is what I do when I see a new influencer pop out.
Yeah.
I go and see maybe how long they've been in the industry, where they worked at, who they
First,
know,
you
who
go
they.
see if they're actual engineer or not. That's what you really do. But go ahead.
No, I do. I see all that. I see that. Then okay, what's your platform about? Who are these people that took your platform? Can I find them? Are they fake people? Are the claims of your programs outlandish? Is the story that you're saying now, everything gonna be believable, but are you really lying? And so it's a small world when everybody who's making content or the people who know people They talk. We know who's actually telling the truth about their journey, and we know who's capping because
Yes.
they have an audience that is going to give them some residuals when it comes to affiliate links and stuff like that, which is cool. I think you should just be upfront about that stuff versus like acting like in your
Absolutely.
heart of hearts that's what you want to do.
Absolutely, man. And it's, and I used to be on recruiters net, tech recruiters is specifically, especially during the pandemic. Like I used to be on the neck. Then when they was, it made me cringe so bad when they was talking about, oh yeah, you can make six figures. Look, I work at this uh um Fortune 500 company or tech fame company, and I only work 2 hours a day, and I just get to sit on the rooftop and sip coffee, and I go work out and do anything I want, and and then my day is done. And it's like, that's not so far. First off, there's so many few opportunities like that exist. Second off, the organizations likely know you're not doing it. All right. And then two is like it's again, it sells people a false hope of what they're to endure. Because I promise you, most people aren't as pretty as you, aren't as attractive as you, aren't as clever talking as you, aren't as driven, work around the clock, around the hours, don't get sleep as you. You know, that's not going to be the reality for most folks. And it's like, and now you hear this thing about, oh, black folks deserve to live a life of luxury. Okay, cool. The thing about it is, um, you can have luxury goods and luxury items, and if that's your thing, that's fine, right? However, you shouldn't make it your goal to want to acquire things that another group produces that will make them rich and make you poor. All right. So think all at the end of the day, you have to follow what consistently works for those who've retained wealth and have grown their wealth. Follow those people and trends. Don't just follow the hot flashes, because what happens, just like you follow those hot tech influencers who flash things in front of you, you're going to try to follow the hot, flashy technology trends that's also supposed to be popular. And then you're going to drop what you're doing and try to pursue that thing. And when you try to pursue that thing and it's not hot no more, you're lost, because now you have no skills. You don't have the skills from the first course of action and path you on, and you don't have any skills from the second path that you're on. So it's like, when I try to speak to my crowd and my audience, it's about being realistic, it's about being manageable, and it's about, most importantly, being accountable. So
No, that's facts, like I said. And I'm just putting all the MLMs on notice, the Amways, the
what is it?
who else?
I remember right now, the gold bags, the gold
You Should
tea,
Be Here,
yeah, you should be.
World Ventures, who else you got out here?
I used
You
to
got the
be
Pink
on they neck
Americas.
on Facebook. I got notorious posts being on MLM's neck because they
Bro,
should have
if you go back
Vector.
on my
I'll go back
LinkedIn,
as far as Vector Dives.
Vector, if you go on my LinkedIn, bro, you'll see like me giving like the MLMs hell. Like you'll see me screenshotting stuff and I'll ask somebody, hey, how long you been in MLM?
That's one of the things I
Where's the
respect
income
about you.
distribution?
Is that I would like I be in groups and stuff, and listen, with the thing that bothers me about some of our folk that get bold around just our folk, and they want to deny um things or challenge things among just our folk. I'm like, if you
Mhm.
really believe what you believe and want to stand on what you stand on, go on LinkedIn and say that. I want to see you challenge other groups. I want you where other groups are all there in the open. I want you to have that same energy for when they're around, because that's going to tell me you're really bold enough. You really believe and you really know what you think you know. Because those people, you're going to
Mhm.
have people coming, them boys with them long beards and them tattoos everywhere, and they there, who are shrewd engineers. I'm talking about shrewd engineers. They study white papers for fun. All right. They have GitHub communities they're part of. They will come and rip your whatever this dream that you're selling or apart. But that'll show me what you made of. And so, yeah, I remember seeing your post. I was like, oh, that guy's good. That guy's good.
And
Because if you can stand in them, it's like standing in the executive room and standing on your beliefs, and your beliefs stand on truth. And if a lot of people, support it, who come from other groups and other backgrounds, oh yeah, you want to something, you're standing on gold. Otherwise, it's all cap. It's easy to talk in black circles or your whatever your group nationality is circles, and be able to tout your horn and say this is real, this is fake, you can make this. That's easy because it's in a closed, controlled environment. But when you in the outside in the wild on LinkedIn, oh yeah, yeah, we're gonna see what you really made of.
Yeah, for sure. Because people come through, they say stuff in the comments, whatever. One thing about me, the difference between them and me is whatever you say to me, I can just make content out of what you say and put it on wax. And I know somebody gonna send it to you so you can hear it. Cause I do, I ain't gonna lie, a little bit of like how I pod, I put hip hop culture a little bit into it. So if I feel like
Though,
it's never really been a time for me to actually like just directly like diss somebody or whatever. But if I have to, I'll put it on wax. So you know exactly who I'm talking to when you hear it. Or if I got to sneak this you in some type of way, you gonna know I'm talking about you.
yeah,
And so that's why you can't beat the person with the mic anyway.
yeah,
You can go on what you want to, but
facts,
they gonna hear this. Nobody
facts,
might not read your post.
facts.
So now you said you got the role in Germany. Did you move and work in Germany or what happened with that?
Yeah, man. I got a call. I was actually interviewing with for AWS. That's how crazy this was. I was interviewing for like I was interviewing for like multiple companies. Like I probably had like 3 companies, big companies, big lucrative salaries I was interviewing for. And I was going into my third round. I had just passed the technical round with AWS. So I was going to my third round. You know, usually when you make it to that third or fourth round, it's usually good money because it's just a personality test at that point. And
Hmm.
so um, I got a call from a foreign number. I usually don't pick them up, but I was like, you know what? Let me see what's going on. Picked it up, and it was a woman with a foreign voice. And I was like, She kind of sounded British, kind of sounded foreign. I was like, doesn't sound like a scam call. So anyway, took the interview, did it with them. They said that they really sold me on, they wanted to invest in me. They wanted to um bring me up and do all this cloud stuff in Azure because I had just got my Azure fundamental certification as well. And they liked my background infrastructure about with the medical company. And so anyway, they said, "Hey, we're gonna fly you out to Boston to interview." I said, "For real? Now I ain't never been to Boston in my life. Now, I don't been around it for a couple things. I'm making some good money, but I'm still kind of I'm still from the hood, from the trenches. So I get excited and I fly out opportunity to a place that I've never been.
That was
So
me going to Connecticut last year.
oh, that's dope. That's dope. You went to the good part, man. I heard all the party and what's happening and the good stuff and the good foods in Connecticut on that side of the country.
I was surprised. Yeah, we was in Stanford. I was surprised.
Yeah, man, ain't nothing in Boston. You hear me? Nothing. And I want them to get mad at me and call me. But so anyway, I'm out there. I interviewed, and apparently I did so well. They offered me the job on the spot. And so they said, "Yeah, we're gonna fly you out to Germany to train." I said, "For real?" Now, I ain't never been to Germany before. I ain't even had aspirations to go to Europe. I'm not one of those guys that's eager to be on them, them type of folks land anyway. You hear me? So I was like,
Yeah.
cool. So I went, I talked to my wife about it and everything. And I went, trained there for a month, came back, worked, and yeah, did that. And that was great. I was able to work with alongside those engineers. Um, and those Germans, man, they are shrewd engineers, man. They know what they know. It's not a lot of they don't believe in a lot of fluff. You can't fluff your way through having conversations with them about around technical tasks. And they had this software and everything that I was supposed to help migrate to Azure databases through their different warehouse clients that they had because they had like a change shift tool. And um, yeah, man, it was a great experience, man. The food sucked there. The food was terrible, but it's a naturally beautiful place. It's a very historic place. They still have buildings intact that were made like in the 1300s. Um, it's a very democratized country. Like, you don't see any homeless people laying on the ground or anything like that. Very clean. Sundays, I'm so ghetto. I hate to admit it, but on Sundays is like their quiet days. So you're not supposed to make a lot of noise. Most of the shops and bakeries and restaurants are closed, and people just kind of fellowship in a few areas. They gave me a rental car. Man, I'm over here in Germany bumping Young Dolph, man. It's going 60 seconds and never let up play me. I'm bumping
R.I.P.
Southside.
Doc, man.
I know, but I was cutting up, man. So and then went to Switzerland as well. But yeah, it was short term, man. They ended up laying me off. Because because they was making changes to the actual role itself. I guess they didn't see as much business from the American side as they did on the European side. And
Hmm.
so that ended. But it was still a tremendous experience for me, and I ended up picking up my it's crazy because every time I got laid off or left a job, um, I the roles and the opportunities increased. So I actually then found a full tech role, a full FTE role with a medical company here, based out of Boston again, but here, and it was as a cloud architect this time. So now I'm going from support engineer to infrastructure engineer to database administrator to now I'm a cloud architect and I'm working in Google. This is a whole 100% Google shop. I've never worked in Google shop.
Me either. Oh, GCP.
Oh yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
GCP, man. It's boring, man, but it's cool because you get to work with a lot of startups and you get to work on a lot of cutting edge data for businesses. But and it's Google. Their stuff is you just gotta really know their technology. Their training documents aren't that great, but their environment to work in is pretty easy, to be honest with you. They just have firewalls that you have to maintain instead of security groups and NACLs and everything that you have to maintain with AWS and Azure. But um, I got bored with it really fast. I did some great stuff. I was able to stand up an entire environment by myself. But I got bored with it fast and left that opportunity and then got to work with um I didn't get fired this time. I left the job and got an opportunity to work with DHS, Department of Homeland Security. And the rest was history. So
Yeah, that's a cushy job right there. So did you get a top secret,
nah, I
public
got the
trust?
public
Whatever?
trust, man. The public trust.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And that's
I
one
had to
thing
get a
I
secret
learned too,
for
man, is
VHS.
that being a contractor versus being actual direct hire is different. I would never I'm not a unless it's a direct hire that's a crazy opportunity. Um, it's like if they offer me top level clearance and the money is great, I wouldn't go work for the feds again, in my opinion. Not especially not on no contract. Unless I'm holding a
Why
contract.
not?
Um, because even though you're on a contract, your contract can be term based. Like mine was supposed to be for like um um I don't wanna give it away, but it was a couple years, and that couple years was about a seven-figure sum. And so I'm like, I'm gonna be here for a while. I'll take that, So, but I didn't know that that contract can end at any time. And
Mhm.
what happens is, companies that contract with the feds, and this is why I tell people you got to learn the business that you're in. It's a cloud business, a tech business. Contracts that companies that contract with the federal government, you might have one main contract supporter, one person, the person who owns the contract. What they'll do is subcontract out the work, meaning they'll find recruitment companies to go hire out the talent, and those recruitment companies will hire the talent through their own contract. So you're like a subcontract um, person. And so, what happens is they have to renegotiate those. They have to do like annual renewal of terms of that contract with the feds, because the feds can say, well, we're committed to do this deal with you for about 10 years or so. But there's also clauses in there where like every 3 years you got to renegotiate because the economy may change, things may change, and the infrastructure and the needs, whatever, what have you. And these are things that you just won't be privy to because they're executive level conversations that they don't even want you to be privy to. And so um, when they renew, that means your task number that was given to you can be relinquished. So even though they told you that it's going to be there for a certain amount of years and that you was going to have a certain amount of earning, now it's changed. And so when I experienced that, I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool on that. So I would never do it again. It's just not worth it for me.
Yeah, I definitely know how that could be. That's one of the things people don't know about, like the contracts. Like these recruiters here are hitting you up about these contract jobs. You kind of just like, it say you're supposed to be doing 6 months, but you never know what could change with the money. So you always got to have your head on a swivel
Always.
and be creative with it. Like I'm real quick to if a recruiter hit me up about a job that's contract, I'm like, yo, okay, hey, they interested in doing C to C because at least
Right.
I can get my benefit out of it on the back end versus all the other stuff I have to do being W-2. And I'm like, technically, I was not working for y'all, my company was.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Get bigger pay for C to C, and on top of that, um, and unless they're also giving you, if they're giving you like if I would say a security level clearance would be also make it beneficial because there's so many jobs that you can only get if you have a security level clearance. Sometimes you'll just get a job by default because there's not that much tech talent out there that have a security level clearance or higher. So that's also a benefit as well. But working directly
Mhm.
for the government, people think, oh, it's cushy because the longevity of it is hard for them to fire you. Yeah, but the pay ain't great. Like,
Yeah, you
yeah,
gotta be up there.
huh?
You gotta be, like, on
Yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
there.
You gotta be like a
What, 14
L4,
something?
L7 high senior level position to really see a pay like that's like, oh, now that's impressive. But if you're anything under that, the pay is not impressive at all. And working with the feds, you know, again, it depends on what your aspirations are, and it depends on, you know, what you're comfortable with, where you're at in your career.
Yeah.
If you're in a position where you have some experience, well, you can navigate. You got options. You don't have to be confined to those opportunities. But if you're someone that kind of need a job and you need anything you can get, you know, you know, do your thing. But yeah, just learn the business, man. Just know that none of this stuff is permanent. You know, and so you got to keep that hustler's mentality of being prepared for whatever comes next around the corner.
Mhm. Yeah, and I also say to add into that, never stop interviewing. I mean,
Never,
people that
never
get
cut your
jobs,
open to work on 'em. Never.
facts,
Yeah,
facts. I was talking to a friend, they had some layoffs at this company, and one of the ladies there who's cool, she had an interview probably like 10 years,
yeah,
and she ain't been getting no hits on her resume, and a lot of stuff's going on. It's like, yeah, because I mean, think about it, she probably hadn't interviewed in a while, so you just need to one of the reasons why you wanna stay interviewing is because whether you do good or not, you'll figure out what companies are looking for, and that'll help you study and get those skills. So in case something happens, you back in the ball game. You not starting over from
yep,
scratch because you don't know what they're looking for.
yep,
So that's why every couple of months, or something you want to interview just to stay fresh, and that's a skill that you really don't want to lose, but you will lose it if you don't use it.
yep. No, absolutely. You definitely want to stay interviewing. Um, um, and then also to even add to that, just to be able to add recruiters to your network. I can't tell you how many recruiters that I've just added to my network by just building relationships with, even for jobs that didn't go through or what have you. Because really good recruiters are hard to come by. I'm talking about a recruiter that's going to advocate for you, that understands the
Hmm.
needs of the client, have relationships with the clients, and that are cool in communicating with you. Um, because you never know, not just you need an opportunity, but you might have a friend or a mentee or a student, whoever needs a look at their resume or needs some opportunities down the pipeline, and that recruiter can help be that bridge for them. So yeah, never stop interviewing, never. I never turn my open to work sign off.
Oh,
Even
that's facts.
even when you're doing business as the when you're doing tech business as the business yourself, even when you're in a position to win those contracts yourself, just stay after it, man.
Got to. Like, what I was gonna say, like, today, I had a recruiter I talked to like a month ago, and they hit my line because number one, reached out to me for a role that I knew I wasn't the best fit for, but director I interviewed with a couple of years back at a company. He's super cool dude that he had recently got laid off. I was like, yo, this ain't a good fit for me, but he would be dope for it. So she reached back out to me, said thanks, like he's super cool. Then she called me back, was like, "Yo, you remember that role we talked about a while back? Like, what if we could give you those concessions that you were asking for when it comes to like being on site and like coming early and leaving early as well to get back to your kids or get them from
Right.
school and all that other stuff." Like, I said, we might could talk about it." I was like, "Everything, listen, everything's negotiable. I'm telling you, if they can't find nobody and you got what they need, everything's negotiable."
Man, I tell people that all the time, man. Like you'll be highly, s- you will be highly surprised, even still today, how many the lack of qualified candidates that are out there. You know, and you got to first off consider that there's a large portion of the talent pool who aren't American citizens. So you got
Hmm.
that by default. Then on top of that, those who don't have certifications. Then you got to factor those who don't have the experience. Then you got to factor in those who don't have the technical skills. You can have experience and still don't know what you're doing. So that window, that pool starts to shrink real quick. And then let alone don't have good interviewing skills. You'll be highly surprised what you qualify for and what you actually get by just applying yourself. But if you never just apply for the role, you never pick up the phone for the recruiter, have the calls. I'm not talking about these foreign recruiters, but like American recruiters, because you know how they get.
Listen, hey, I promise you, I sent it to my mans earlier. I said, "Hey, bro, I think I just caught one of these Indian recruiters in a scam, bro." Dude reached out to me for a role,
Yeah,
talking about like W-2 or C to C. Hey, it'll be. He was like, "Yeah, it'll be 3 days on site or whoop de woo." And I said, "Okay, where's the building at?" Bro gave me like, so the clown supposed to be for Verizon. Bro gave me the address. It's like somewhere in downtown Dallas. I was like, it's like, bro, this is a Verizon store. I like, to my
not a
knowledge,
Verizon
Verizon,
store, bro.
bro. I promise you, I'll show you. I'll show you what you call it.
Oh
I was like,
man,
to my knowledge, Verizon, they headquarters is in Irving. So I'm just like, after I said that, he didn't say nothing back. So I knew.
yeah, you got to be careful, man. And when they say give you a social, give them a fake number. Make the number up. Don't ever give your real info away, man. And it's just funny,
That
man.
happened to my homie. He out there in Atlanta. He thinks he believes he had gave his last four or something to one of them recruiters, and he seen he got an alert on one of his like credit things. Somebody had tried to had got like two cards or something.
See, nah, I don't even. I rarely ever respond to them. I just tell them send the job to my email. I used to be really bad. I used to be bad. I'd be talking on the phone like, shoot, like, no, man, stop calling my phones because they'll blow you up now. Don't let
Bro,
you.
listen, I had my number on Dice, but they was calling me at like
Oh yeah,
6 and 7.
oh
I had to take
yeah,
my
it's
number
go.
off. And I got two numbers. I got a business line and primary. If they caught the primary ain't answer, they caught a business. I was like, hey fam.
Oh man, that's so real. Yeah, but my
I
wife
said, if
has
y'all can
talked me
send
into
me
being
email.
nicer with them, so I just politely decline or just tell them to send me an email. But yeah, boy, they will, boy, that's to you. So yeah, make relations, man, especially with good American recruiters. And you got some terrible American recruiters too. You might relate to this. Sometimes we have a tech recruiter call you who's not familiar with tech. Most of them aren't tech professionals at all, but who these persons are like just far removed from the tech world, but they just doing this job or whatever. And they ask you a slew of technical questions that they have no idea what you're talking about and what you're asking. And when you provide answers, because it's not the answer that they don't see on that little sheet of answers that's
Mhm.
supposed to be, they think it's the wrong answer. Or sometimes they ask you to expound on that answer. I'm like, if I expound, you still want like those also be the most annoying type of persons. And usually those jobs are the jobs you don't want anyway. Well, I don't. So
Yeah, that's fact, especially at companies. I want to get into this though,
yeah.
man. Let's talk about the present, like your company and helping people get into the cloud. Let's talk about that. What are you seeing people struggle with when it comes to getting into the cloud?
Yeah, man. So, most recently got another success story. One of our students, she hit me about a year ago, and basically, I remember she messaged me on a messenger and talked about wanting to get in cloud because she saw me promoting or whatever. And she went through my boot camp training. We also did a blitz job applying training with her, etc. So anyway, it started a year ago, and she literally just this month started. Well, last month started her tech security role, so, and just a woman who comes from customer service, no tech degree, anything like that, just a slew of projects that I had her do. And she did get her Azure fundamental certification. So I was really excited about that. She was just one of those ones, you come across those students who work really hard and
Hmm.
as I used to tell her all the time, you have what it takes you literally just haven't gotten the right opportunity. Now you've got the search, you got the project experience on your resume, you got the technical knowledge. You literally just haven't gotten the right opportunity yet. And then literally she ended up finding the right opportunity. So, um, what my whole boot camp and everything premise on is like a 5 week camp, totally immersive. Um, the video it is class based. The videos, the projects and everything are video based, so they're released on a weekly basis. Just for people who don't have time. just to be time flexible. However, after each project, after each video, we do mandatory meetings, Q&A meetings to discuss the class as far as discussing things that you might be lost on, do Q&As, as far as, questions that you need answers to, and the whole mentoring process, as well as provide ongoing support. It's myself and my career architect person, Tiffany Hall, is in as well. She does all my tech resumes. And then we also have a new person on the team, Ryan Wright, who's an Azure IM engineer. And yeah, man, we build we basically put our students through. One of the most things I'm proud of is we put we for the first time this summer, we had teenagers in our boot camp. One was 14, other is 19, and literally had put them through our boot camp, and we have them build out this 3-tier architecture where they have a web app, database app, and they set up disaster recovery for it all, which is a senior level skills. And I've even showed them the jobs where these were senior level tech jobs that required that those persons know a 3-tier technology and how to implement it. And so anyway, they built it in the 5-week frame. And I've been posting about it on our YouTube channel, Be Cloud Engineers, what have you. But so that showed me like, okay, if these teenagers can do something really complex that they had no idea, we do Linux programming as well. If they completed all our classes and everything, all our training within our time period, then I know these adults can. So that was kind of my real testament to see, am I am I doing something that's probably too hard, too senior level for newbies? Um, because this was a new class I was rolling out. Prior to, we had other different types of cloud projects, more broken up. So anyway, uh, yeah, the success I found is that usually those who are uh, workhorses that don't mind being pushed and driven, because again, even though the videos are video, it's immersive, hands on. It's very live because we're there with you throughout the entire camp. Um, I've been on calls with students as late as 1 a.m. in the morning. My wife told me to stop that. But working through projects and debugging and et cetera. It's not the projects themselves and everything that makes you that makes you a really good engineer by the end of my camp. It's the technical troubleshoot that's gonna make you a really good engineer. And so the premise of my boot camp is to train newbies with cloud skills, particular cloud engineering skills, and to be able to, become cloud support engineers, into their first tech role, as well as help desk professionals who want to convert into cloud careers themselves by equipping them with those same skills. So even though the premise of it is cloud engineering, just like cloud support, it's the nucleus of the cloud. So you're gaining networking skills, database skills, storage skills, IAM skills, infrastructure as code skills, blah, 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 all from one centralized location. And we found that to be best suited for our students to make the easier learning journey for them, a more direct learning journey for them. And it teaches them to be able to not only do the technical aptitude, but understanding the business cause reasons of why they're building out such architects. And so that's been the great part. The great part is the success stories. Another one from who started off with me, she worked in a lingerie store in South Carolina, and now she's about 8 months later, after taking one of my training and mentorship, she ended up getting a mobile engineering job with the feds in DC, relocated her and everything. So being able to help students like that, I find that the ones who will succeed the most are just self-driven. I'm really just a guide. I'm just telling them exactly what they need to train for, the exact certifications they need to train for, the exact tech skills and projects they need to do, and helping them through each of those and how to create their resume the right way to be appeasing and attractive to recruiters, as well as what to expect in the technical rounds. So I'm just really the guide showing them exactly what to do. They're already self-driven on doing the to-do part. So that's what I found to be the most driven, both men and women. I found that I will say this though, as far as the cons that you talked about, found that the cons are women often struggle with the confidence factor. The confidence factor as far as, is this enough? Should I apply for this role? It's asking for a little bit more than what I have. Uh, um, Am I good enough to interview? Can I actually pass the interview? Like all those confident factors. Men, they don't care. They just go for it. They just say, shoot, I think I got enough. I'm gonna go anyway, and then go after the opportunities. The con with on the men's side is that the men oftentimes lack the detail orientedness of being a professional that the women have. So the women that take great technical documentation that we have them do, the great pictures, videos, technical beautify the text, easy to read, go to their medium, blah blah blah. You know, are very professional, diligent, showing up on time, punctual, and the guys just, man, just halfway do the technical documentation, don't do some of the, don't always show up on time, think they can just blast through things at the end of the week, at the end of the week's end of the course or whatever, or at the end of camp or whatever. They just think that they can just blast their way through things and end up having a longer turnaround time or getting opportunities because they just think they think they just can take away from a training what they need, they think they need, and that's it. They don't need to take away anything else. And it's like, no, you're missing the whole pie that you need to be delivered to the customer, not just the filling, all right, of the pie. So those are the two cons and pros, and the worst way. And again, you don't have to go through a boot camp, you don't have to go through a course, you don't have to get a degree. You can self-taught yourself the whole way through, or you can do all four. I always say there's no wrong way to train. The only wrong way to train is to procrastinate. Because when you procrastinate, no matter if you went to a college and got a degree, no matter if you went to a boot camp, no matter if you get a course, no matter if you self-taught, you're not going to finish the journey into getting into your first cloud role or getting into an elevated role because you procrastinate, and procrastination comes from a midst of, all kinds of reasons. But if you don't deal with that, if you don't confront your issue with procrastinating, you're gonna have an extremely tough, stubborn journey. So that's gonna be
Yeah, no, I agree. I know, like, for example, one of my guys that I worked with last year who got in the cloud, no background there whatsoever. He had a construction background and now he's a cloud engineer. So like
awesome.
he was one of them go getters. He was networking with people while doing Uber and stuff at the time.
And and that's the thing too, is like, no matter if you have who's helping you, who's training you throughout the way, there's still gonna be a portion of it, no matter what degree you have, there's gonna be a portion of it where self-taught, as I talked about at the beginning of this, you're gonna
Mhm.
have to do some things outside the scope of your training to add to the pieces of your training, but it all matters. It's all gonna matter because how you train is how you're gonna perform in the actual role. So, yeah, we're just big on creating the actual work environment. Like we do tickets in our class. Like you submit tickets just like you would at work in actual role.
Mhm.
Go do tickets. And if you suck at doing tickets, that means when you get an actual role, you're gonna suck at doing tickets. And you're not gonna have that
Yeah.
job for long. So, it's all about just drive, man, just determination, man. And I don't want anybody or deal with anybody who wants a quick turnaround or who wants something, the easy way out. You know, I don't entertain. I try not to entertain those types of people. I try to scare them away from getting into my camp, you know. But if you're willing to understand this is going to be a long-term thing, but it's going to be very fruitful for you. And I'm building you for the future. Like I'm building you to be a cloud professional in the role, not just building you to get a job, not just building you to have a nice resume. No, I want you to, when you get in the role, you're not shocked by anything. You can be like, oh, we had a ticketing system. Oh, we dealt with these EC2 servers. Oh, we configured the network. Oh, it's a oh, not a damn, I don't know what I'm doing. Dang, it's
Right.
dang, damn, they got me on this. Damn. So and it's just that's just a concept, bro. Not just for myself, but what I see the struggles of other people trying to train themselves or other boot camps or other college. The biggest thing I think the misconception is that I see a lot of people think they can go get these degrees, especially these cybersecurity degrees, etc., from these well promoted college courses online, and think that that's going to be the golden ticket. You still have to end up going through a boot camp because they don't have any technical skills, like and don't
Mhm.
have any certification. They still don't know the career guidance aspect. Like I just see a lot of people, man, they really think that this is a one shot. You just need a one thing, one ticket thing. It's gonna be my golden ticket. No, it's projects, certifications, and social ambition. That's the winning formula for you.
Yep, that's on the podcast episode that we already dropped the audio this week. We reacted to a video of one of my guys named Kyrie, and he was talking about how like it's not just going to be one thing that's going to help you get into like cybersecurity. It's like what the boot camp sometimes do or lack, and the schools lack is they don't show you the career acquisition process and how that's separate. That's
Yeah.
like he said, like a whole separate process, which I agree with because that's what people struggle with when they come to me
Mm,
of getting the job. Like I tell everybody, learning the skills to
mhm.
get in the cyber cloud, whatever you want to do, that's the easy part.
That's the easy
How
part.
to market yourself and get in front of the people and interview and get the job and impress them. That's the hard part. That's the part that you're probably not going to get taught somewhere.
Absolutely. And that we found that, and that's why we had our career architect Tiffany in there to help them prepare. Like she's a recruiter. So she shows them the back end of what recruiters look for in resumes, how they do control F5s for certain skills, how to
Hmm.
format resume. Like we took care, we want our boot camp to be a one-stop shop, for your cloud training needs to prepare you to be a professional, not just to get a job, to be a cloud professional. And though it's cloud engineering, doesn't mean that you're locked into just that career path. You locked in, it opens up the opportunity for multiple cloud roles or tech roles. But yeah, people just gotta understand that, you know, it's gonna take some hustle and stop listening to, these big shot influencers who likely most of them don't have any technical rules, technical skills. Or, another thing too is coming is where, you have some influencers who degrade boot camps or degrade any self-taught methods outside of just doing everything for free on your own. And while you can, there's just some people who don't prefer that. It's just like VIP parking. Some people wanna park for free in the back in the gravel, and some people want that VIP service, wanna pull up and have a chauffeur park their car for them. So it's all that's why I say there's no wrong way to trade. The only wrong way is procrastination. And most people just procrastinate because they develop these lofty goals and lofty ambitions, and they think it's gonna happen immediately. And when it doesn't, now they envy tech. Now they think tech is stupid. They
Yeah.
don't think anybody can do tech. They say, "Oh, you got to have all this experience and da 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 da." They become naysayers. So yeah, and those people who deny boot camps or courses or whatever,
I
those
think I know who you're talking about
I don't
because
know,
I don't
but
really, I
man, I
don't
be
care for
like,
books.
I say nothing on those posts or whatever because it's like their crowd or whatever. But and I try to mute that stuff, but it's like not even because I got a boot camp or where have you, but I just been like this. It's like, you know, um, I always say you have to account for the mistakes and the losses that people occur during this self-training journey.
Mhm.
If you're not able
You
to
don't even
account
know
for
if
that,
what you're
then
learning is right.
huh?
I said a person who's like self-learning don't even know what they're learning if it's right or not.
That's it. They'll be Googling all day and then get
Like,
analysis by paralysis. So paralysis by
right,
analysis.
it's like I think people who push stuff like that are kinda trying to gatekeep in a
That's
sense
it.
because you can fast track somebody's career by just knowing the right person.
That's it.
Like, I got a client right now who was making 50K at a dead end sock job, and it's on my Instagram.
Mhm,
Based on me helping prepare for the interview, based on my connections of
mhm.
knowing that worked at the company, like saying, "Hey, this dude right here, I know he gonna speak up good for him." This man then got an offer of all in all base comp 120K with total comp 132.
Life changing. Don't change this
Yeah,
whole life.
you don't normally get a jump like that from
What?
for free. He invested in his career and got something out of it.
That's it, man.
And
That's
that's what I
it.
tell people. It's like you can like I'm not against people doing whatever they want to, but
Nope.
don't try to shame them
Nope.
for doing something because we all gotta pay for something we want. Because like, sure, you don't have to buy whatever new car. Go get you a jalopy. Go get in that then and drive around and see what that get you.
Yep.
Not far.
Yep. Yep.
That's sometimes the same thing that happens to you when you self-study. You be all over the place and one day you studying this and that. You ain't got no path. You complaining about stuff.
Man, I gotta and then sometimes what hurts you the most is the people closest to you who kind of take your advice and take you for granted. It's crazy because the people who don't know you think you're a hero. But the people closest to you, your friends or family, whoever, they look at you like, and it's like, I got this one friend who, man, this dude, I've been telling him what to do from day one, 4 years ago. And he always took my advice for granted. Always. Always, every time I gave, and this is one of the types where every time I give him an assignment, he come back and with more questions instead of just doing the
Mhm.
research and trying to figure out that assignment or follow through on the assignment. Um, he ended up paying for going to a college and thought that was going to be his saving grace, right? Because great marketing, like you said, they told him about, oh yeah, you can do this and that with this degree, da da da. Got the degree, did the whole graduation, came back to me, still can't even sniff at a role. Can't sniff, don't know what to do. Law, like it's like, man, you like you said, it's all about figuring out who the right persons are to talk to. And sometimes if that means you got to make an investment, then make an investment. Like I said this on my live last night. I know we running short on time, but um, if you um, if you going to what did I say last night on my live about I said about investing. Dang, I just lost my train of thought. But I
Keep
think I
talking.
was
It'll
like
come to you.
I was like, if you're going to, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to say, but at the end of the day, um, um, just understand that the reason that people, oh, that's what I said. Yeah. And so we, as engineers, as senior engineers in this industry, um, we make more than enough money to where we don't have to charge for our time. Only reason most of us charge for our time or require people to put in investment because we've helped so many people throughout the years who wasted our time and resources. Like we've left birthday parties, had to step out on birthday parties or step out on dates or step out on this just to get on the call with you or just to help you out through this late at night. Um, and for persons not to take our advice, like not to do these things, we had to learn that, okay, we need to start putting a coin as a wall between to keep, to just protect our personal lives. And so, versus and filter out those who really want to help. And you find
Mhm.
out throughout the years, if you've done so much consulting, that people who really want to help will invest in your time and it's not up for question. You know, it's just a where can I make that investment? And they are usually the ones that will go through and do all the things that you tell them to do to a T and even overdo things, you know, versus those who oftentimes, just want to waste your time. And then we also give away a lot of free content. We also provide a lot of resources for free that we pay um,
Mhm.
for people to learn and earn and get these opportunities as well.
Yep.
But
Free giveaways.
huh?
I said giveaways.
Yeah, giveaways. I don't pay for certifications. It costs money just to use the software we interviewing on. So and this is free for you to watch the video or wherever you. So it's like we do so much giving that it's like we don't the money ain't it for us. You're not paying us that much to where it can compensate for us, making up for what we don't earn in our careers because we earned the money already. So what we did it as a filtration to really help those who need and want the help. And then for those who really need and want the help, but maybe can't afford that coin or what have you, they'll find their way to get to us. Like I had a guy who told me that he said, look, I can't afford your consultation, but look, I know that you're gonna be in this city, this city during this time. Let me take you out for lunch. Let me have a lunch for you. Let me buy lunch for you, whatever. And he had done from the hood. I'm from the hood, so that resonated with me. I said, yeah, brother, you know what? You don't even got to pay for it. Just had this call when we had the call. Da, da, da. So like I do things like that all the time. Discounts all the time. It's not a money thing. It's more so just to create a filtration so we can get a free filtration system, and so that we can have a piece of our lives back, because
No,
like
that's
you said,
facts, bro. Because
so
I tell people all the time, if it was a money thing, they'll know.
you hear me? You
They'll know because I'll be in front of a Rolls Royce or something, and
you hear
you can
me?
get like me in cybersecurity, pay for this and that. That's all you gotta do if that's really a money play. You can tell who doing the money play and
Yep,
who actually, yeah, they're charging you for a service. Some people have built like actual businesses off of this, so they got staff that they gotta pay,
yep,
but they still are trying to help you.
yep,
They're trying to cut through the red tape that it took people like me and you years ago. It wasn't no people really helping us play by play to get in. You have to get out the mud.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. We trial and error babies.
Man, for real. So I was gonna ask you real quick, what would be for a person starting out in the cloud, what would be like the top 5 skills that they would need to know?
Top five skills is you need to have some. Number one, you need to learn Linux programming skills. No, that doesn't mean go out and get a Red Hat certification. Just do enough programming skills to be able to build something with a project. You can find projects on Medium, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, all type of free university websites to find and build a project. There's no wrong project that you're building when you're starting from scratch. So do a Linux project, get some Linux, understand how to do basic commands, and create something using Linux. You download a virtual box on your machine for free, create a virtual environment. That's a Linux OS, etc. So Linux skills, also networking skills. You need to be able to identify the difference between LANs, WANs, and then more so cloud, VPC, security groups, NACLs, etc. Networking. If you could or want to, just to get some paperwork under your belt, because you did your Linux training already, you got some proficient Linux skills, you know how to, open up a command line and run it through, do a system status check, etc. But you want to get some paperwork under you, get the CCNA. That's a great certification to have. It's carried weight for over 20 years. It's going to carry weight still going forward for you to at least to get a decent networking tech role. In the meanwhile, while you're building your tech career to try to get some experience under your belt. So that's for those who won't go paperwork crazy, but still, either whether you get the paperwork or not, get the skill, networking. Next would be infrastructure as code. Learn some Terraform. Build a very basic IAC environment, no matter the cloud provider, no matter if it's Google Cloud, AWS, Azure, Oracle Cloud, whomever. Build a IAC environment. Just get familiar with using Terraform modules, cloud formation templates, JSON, syntax, being able to debug it, running in debug. Debugging is natural. So that's Terraform. Fourth would be debugging. Um, debug. Run as many problems as you can with those first three things, and get in the habit of being able to research. Even today's time, you can now use AI to help you uh, decipher what those errors out, what those error codes are reading or what it's telling you. Get used to reading forums and what other people are saying online to research solutions to the bugs you run into. Because debugging is going to be most of your tech career. You're getting paid to debug just at a high level. All right. Or to know when things fail, like especially that CrowdStrike should teach you how important it is to have debugging skills, because when production systems go down for something like that, you are going to be expected to be on the call, and you are going to be expected to contribute towards the solution. All right, so debugging. And then the fifth thing I would mention now is to start off mastering one cloud provider. There's no such thing as a wrong cloud provider. All right. And there's each one has its pros and cons as far as with their niche, with the niche business types they attract. So you can research that. I talked about that on my LinkedIn. It's on my YouTube as well. But just find a cloud provider and get really good with that cloud provider enough to where you can build out an entire infrastructure on your own. All right. Um, um, there's no such thing as a wrong one. Before, and this is all before you start to develop multi cloud skills. So get good with one, get a certification with one. If you're going into sales, a practitioner or foundational certification is fine. But if you're trying to get into an engineer role, you need to start looking at immediately look at those specialty certs or associate level search level and above only. Don't go for a foundational practitioner cert if you're going for it, if you want to become an engineer, a cloud engineer of any type. All right, because this is to make you, these are 5 things to make you highly competitive in getting your first cloud role. And just keep in mind, nobody asking you as a junior or entry level cloud professional coming into the role to build out anything on your own. And most organizations aren't going to do that, lay that kind of responsibility out on you, unless you're going in as a cloud architect somewhere. But aside from that, you're going to be, it's the organizations already have systems set up. You're just going to support what they have going on, or build what they have going on even further. So take the pressure off yourself to think that you're supposed to come in as a SME, but you want to overtrain so that you're over prepared for when you get into your role. Because when you get into your role, you're going to be like, that's it. That's all they asking me to do? What? I did all this for that. Oh, I mean, yeah, this gonna be. Yeah, but but again, to be prepared for those and gain access to those opportunities, you need to overtrain so that when you get in those roles and those opportunities, you smash it. You smash it and you climb expeditiously to your next role. So those are the five.
Appreciate that, Ti.
Hey
Had to get you
man,
when you said that expeditiously, partner.
expeditiously.
But nah, but where can our listeners where can they find you at online?
Yes, you can find me on YouTube, B Cloud Engineers. That's B as like a B, the B solo, not BE, but B Cloud Engineers. You can go to our website, bcloudengineers.com for all the services we offer. And then, I'm on YouTube weekly. I'm uploading content weekly. We do our tech at nights where we drink some and I smoke a little
Mhm.
something cigar wise, and I do a talk about a subject, a cloud tech subject, career subject for that week, as well as do a Q&A afterwards. Where I answer as many questions that come in through the chat. Shout out to my Breakthrough Bears um, on the channel. So, and then you can also find me on LinkedIn, Demecos Chambers, and you can find me on Instagram, and I post on Instagram and my story daily, and TikTok. And under Instagram and TikTok, you can find me as Cloud Tech Big Unc. You know, so,
Bet, bet, bet. Yeah, yeah. Listen, y'all. From talking to him, we are going to do a live. I don't know when we're gonna do a live on the channel.
it's
So
Sirski.
y'all be ready to come with y'all questions. I'll make sure I market it. People love when I bring y'all on to do the lives and they get their questions off.
Vote,
Uh, Good way to market for business as well.
vote. Yeah, I gotta have you on, man. My audience will love you, man. So, uh,
Hey, you know I'm down.
you got to sip some too, though. It can't just be vitamin
Oh,
water.
not well. This is some lemonade. That's all I had in the fridge.
That's
But normally I'm an old fashioned type of guy, or like
okay.
some brown. Like I try to stay like something to keep me cool,
You
not
got
doing
you.
too
Yeah,
much.
you're a responsible father. I get it. I get it. I ain't reached that level yet. I ain't that zenith of adulthood yet. But
It's either that or tequila. I'm like probably the two, or like I think my favorite like dark liquor to drink is Martell.
okay, Martell's
So
good.
like
Martell's a classic.
I like that
You like that
Martell.
Terramana, that tequila?
Nah, I drink. What do I like? I can't
18.
remember what
You
I
18. You
used
like the
to. I used
coconut
to
guy.
drink Deleon a lot. Um, Deleon. I used to
Okay.
like Casanova
Look,
was. Yeah,
yeah, love me some DeLeon. I
Patron
got
is
DeLeon going.
overrated.
Yeah,
Patron overrated for sure, but
for
hey,
sure, for sure. The Patron is
it's
a
like
party
it's the
drink.
hood version. Patron to the hood is like what Hennessy is to the hood.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm on Patron. I'm on.
Yep.
I'm in.
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. But hey, guys, it's been another episode of Textual Talk. Y'all know where to find us. And until next time, we out. Peace.